Okay, so today's an exciting day for me. We're going to be back working on my dad's workshop. We've got a 10-foot workbench, which is materials are being delivered today. We're going to be building it and installing it. I've mentioned my dad a few times recently in some of these videos, but not really explained his role in my business. So long story short, he moved, the whole cliche thing, from London townhouse to Lincolnshire, where I live, to retire. Fully retired now, but despite being retired, he's always going to need something to kind of keep him interested, motivate, keep his mind working, and a few extra quid in his pocket. So he's run plenty of businesses in the past. We've worked on a few properties together over the years, and so the plan was really that I was going to get into installing electric vehicle chargers. So going through my kind of electrical training, electrical career, as that grew, he would then move into the business and become the kind of back office side of the business. I would be the hands-on doing the job. He would be the buying the materials, arranging the quotes, getting the quotes, and then booking time slots in around my availability to do the jobs. Which kind of brings me on to why the workshop is so important, his workshop. So I've got a workshop quite small, he's got a much bigger one, and that's kind of going to be the hub for our business, where we'll keep materials, build things, potentially create some content, but a bit of a hub for Pickle EV. Real cool name. So about 10 minutes after that video was recorded, I went home, got changed. The plan was to go around to my dad's house, have a bit of do a bit of work in his workshop, working on the workbench, sanding, varnishing, that sort of thing. So I put some dirty clothes on. I didn't mind getting varnish on. Changed my trousers, changed my top. Went to put my coat back on. Planned to go around to his house, and as I put my coat back on, I put my left arm into my coat arm, and it dislocated, popped out. Obviously put my arm too far back. Didn't think I did at the time, but clearly I did. It's an old injury. It's happened two other times in the past. It's the third time on that arm. So went to hospital. This is 4-5 weeks ago, roughly, and had to have it put back in by the doctor. Since had 2 X-rays and MRI, and I've got an appointment with a consultant or surgeon in another month's time now, where I'll probably have to have an operation. Well, I will have to have an operation. I've been told that I will, which is good because that will strengthen it up, and that's what I want. And then, in theory, it should be fine forevermore as long as the operation goes well, which is great. But it's meant I've not been able to work at all, not been able to drive, and it's only really a couple of days ago, that I've been allowed to take it out of the sling, because it had to be isolated in the sling. It is not used at all, apart from a bit of physio, whereas now I can take it out, and I still have to do the physio. I still have to be really careful with it, but I can kind of go back and do some work, really kind of light work. I've been really careful, sort of restricted work that I do, restricting this arm as much as possible. So that's kind of where we are. We're going to go around and see my dad, see the workshop, see how he's got on, because he's carried on without me. Of course he has, why not? But it's really frustrating because it's something I wanted to do with him and I haven't been able to, certainly not this part anyway. I've also heard that he's having some major issues with his solar and that it's not holding charge, so we're going to figure that out. I've got a spare battery that I'm going to give him, so he can have 2 batteries, but I'm going to show him how to link those up, but he's going to have to do all the crimping himself because I've got no strength on my left arm. I kind of need 2 arms, so I'm going to have to explain it to him and he's going to have to do it, but we'll do that now. Seeing that I've only just been allowed to drive, I thought I'll come down to some nice parts of where I live, Lincolnshire. So here we are. Okay, that's it. Let's go to my dad's. So here's an update. He's done a bit of painting. These 2 panels we've obviously put on the wrong side because the sun's on the right hand side, not on the left hand side. There will be 6 panels eventually, which should be all right, catch most of the sun, but unfortunately at that side it's pretty much covered by the house for most of the day, so not the best place. As a result, the battery's fairly dead, which is again not ideal for a lead acid battery. You don't want to get it that low really if you can avoid it. And he's been running the lights, this 1.4 kilowatts table saw, and loads of power tools recharging. So he's used it a little bit too much, especially for the winter, especially when there's no direct sunlight. But as you can see, in terms of progress, this worktop's been put together. It's quite a nice material, been varnished. It still needs these sort of base drawers and shelving underneath, and we've come to install this 85 amp hour lead acid battery in parallel to the other one, and a battery monitor so you can keep an eye on it. So I just wanted to give a bit of a disclaimer really, just to explain the solar system that I've created in my workshop and that we're created in my dad's workshop. They're amateurish, there's no doubt about that. They're DIY, they're not, there's not something that would power your home, and I'm not trying to suggest that it would. And that was intentional for us because we wanted to spend under £1,000, ideally under £500, to fully power our workshops, my workshop and his workshop. We're going to spend a little bit more on because we've got some other bits going into his, like he's going to have a studio to the side of it, so we're going to need more batteries and stuff. But we didn't want to spend £4,000 on a massive inverter. We didn't want to spend £10,000 on batteries, battery storage, scaffolding, to get it all up on the roof and that sort of thing. That's £10,000 upwards for a system that's going to create enough energy to power your whole house. So we wanted to do it for under 1,000 or under even 500, which at the moment mine's under 500, maybe 600-ish, and his will probably be under £800 once it's all done, because we're doing it bit by bit. Essentially we're powering one room. It's a large room, but most of the time we just need lights, and every now and again we need a burst of power for things like bandsaws and grinders and recharging power tools. For him, because he's going to have one half workshop and one half music studio, there's going to be some music kit that's going to need a bit more power, so we'll have more batteries for him, and we're looking at probably something like 400 or 500 amp hours of power in those batteries once we're all said and done. But at the moment we don't, so we're not going to spend the money on the batteries until the studio's ready to go. So we've just got one battery in there, or two now, the 105 and the 85 amp hour batteries, and he only has 2 panels at the moment, but eventually I think he's going to have 6 panels, so we're looking at about 1,000 watts of solar on the roof ish, 1 kilowatt, which should be sufficient as long as we get some sunlight, and he doesn't overdo it, which is what he has been doing. He's had the one battery, and I did say to him that this is enough to get you started. You'll be able to run the lights, you'll be able to use a bit of power. Don't overdo it, don't spend more than an hour in there on power tools and stuff. And he did, and it's winter, and they're positioned right away from the sun, loads of shade because of his house, and he's using the 1.2 kilowatt table saw to cut wood constantly, whilst at the same time recharging his Milwaukee drills and running all the lights, recharging his phone, all off of a 105 amp hour battery powered by 230 watt solar panels that have barely any sun and are shaded by his house. So anyway, that's that. As the project comes along, I'll try and show you a bit more. That's where we are now. Check back. Oh yeah, the shoulder. The shoulder's okay now, it's out of the sling. I can drive a bit. I can do little bits and pieces, but nothing heavy for a while. Sweet. Alright, cool. Like and subscribe. There's loads of links in the description for the products that I've used if you want to go and check them out and see the reviews and stuff. Get some yourself. Crack on. Nice one. Alright. Bye.